to consider before you file this case? The timings. Please, my dear, if you intend to file for child support case, make sure the timings are perfect for you. They are favorable for you. You do not want to go and file for a child support case when you cannot even afford to pay shelter for your child. Like you're literally moving from one friend's house to another friend's house. You just need to understand your financial position and what you are capable of doing, and convince the court what the other party should do. Even unafaa ujiconvince. Even forget about what the law says when you're filing for this case. Wacha kufikiria sana mambo ya sheria. You focus on showing the court, mimi kama mtoto niko hivi na hivi na hivi, and the most I can do within my means ni hivi na hivi na hivi. So if you come to court and you're quoting at food 100,000, clearly you are just extorting someone. You're just lying, because it is not enough that you're quoting that 100,000 and you still do not have the evidence to attach that 100,000. So please avoid that route. You want the court to order 20,000 shillings to be cut off from the salary of your baby daddy with no basis. Emphasize, don't come to court thinking that you're going to file for child support and pay nothing. You know, I've come to know that there are some women especially who think that they will come to court and ask for child support from the baby daddy and expect to pay nothing, that Mimi, he used to provide everything. It's not going to work like that. You come telling me, Lenda kwa children office wakamue. Huko sio kotini. Children office is not court. Whatever they decide, let them decide, but that is not court. Go to court. Because look at Miss Jini yonanda kufanya nini huko. But generally that is the process. Everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to discuss the process of instituting a child support case. Most of you have DM'd me over this, and I decided that instead of answering each one of you, let me just do a video and post it here. So I want to make you understand that cases are not won in court. Cases are won in chambers. Like, what am I saying? You need to fully prepare for your case before you go to court. If you're fully prepared for your case, you have attached all the documents, you will win that case even without showing up in court. So, before you think of filing or for any child support or child custody, please be ready, be prepared. So, number one, what do you need to consider before you file this case? The timings. Please, my dear, if you intend to file for child support case, make sure the timings are perfect for you. They are favorable for you. You do not want to go and file for a child support case when you cannot even afford to pay shelter for your child. Like you're literally moving from one friend's house to another friend's house. So when you go to court and you're here telling the court that you want the baby daddy to pay for you rent, it will not work. Those are the kind of cases that you hear you've been denied custody. Because even if you don't even have a place where someone can live, a roof over your head, who's going to give you custody of the children? It's going to be a very tricky situation. So you must make sure that you're in a favorable condition. They don't need to be the best, but you must at least make sure that you're not in a very bad condition before you run into court seeking for support. I'm talking about you who you know saizi umekaa kwa nyumba na mtu, na huyo mtu anakuprovidea kila kitu, una makao, and then vile umekaa hapo unajidanganya tunataka kwenda kotini ku file for child support, and you're living there. You just know very well the minute you go and file for child support and tell the court I don't have any money, sijara sina mpa kukaa, that guy is going to stop paying the rent, is going to stop doing everything, and you're going to suffer. So the best thing hata ni ujipange kidogo, uko umetoka umerent. Ukisha rent kama ndio unaweza kimbia kotini sasa useme me I need for this person to provide. So make sure the timings are very favorable to you. If you're seeking for custody, make sure the child is with you. Stop going to seek for custody na mtoto sijua kuna ingine wapi huko. So if you're going to seek for custody, ensure at that point you are applying for custody, the child is within your premises. So timings are very important. That is number one. Number two, I want you to know that before a court makes any child support order or maintenance order or whatever, there are certain factors that the court has to consider before making that decision. And I'm just going to explain to you briefly, roughly around them. So the first factor, the court is going to look at the financial needs or responsibilities or obligation of each party. So in this case, your financial needs or your obligations or your responsibility of you and your other person or the other parent. The court has to consider that. So when you're preparing your pleadings, you need to factor that in. You need to make sure that if you are the plaintiff, you have actually demonstrated your income or earning capacity, and you have actually also shown that the other person is equally able to provide. So your earning capacity, your income, your property or financial resources of each party. That is also something else you need to consider, because when you're making this child support case, the court always looks into the finances of each parent for it to make a decision that is practicable, that is reasonable, and that is doable. So your earning capacity, your income, and your financial resources, they will be looked into. The child's circumstances and their financial needs, that is also another thing that the court will look at. The court will interrogate what are the circumstances, how mtoto amekuwa akilelewa aje. You know, the court is always striving as much as it can to maintain the same status for a child despite the parents divorcing, separating, or for whatever reason. The court haiko willing kuanza kusema mtoto atoke shule alikuwa anasoma aende shule ya chini because parents can't decide on who's going to pay school fees. No. So the court is going to look at all those circumstances and decide, and what are the financial needs of this child, and then ina compare na zenu, and then now ina decide. Then it is also going to look at any mental, physical, medical condition or illness of a child. If you know you just have a special kid in whatever way, whatever way, usi disregard, in whatever way, if you know you have a child who has got any special needs, hafeel vizuri, anakuanga under constant medication, you actually need to cite that. Because obviously, if a child is under constant medication, the bills are high around that area. So, after you have considered these factors, which I know most of you, if you are not a lawyer, you will not even be in a position to know even these factors. So what you just need to know, you just need to understand your financial position and what you are capable of doing, and convince the court what the other party should do. Even unafaa ujiconvince. Even forget about what the law says when you're filing for this case. Wacha kufikiria sana mambo ya sheria. You focus on showing the court, mimi kama mtoto niko hivi na hivi na hivi, and the most I can do within my means ni hivi na hivi na hivi. Na nataka babake afanye hivi na hivi na hivi. And you as the mother, you have proved your case. Sio kuja tu kotini kuomba vitu na huja prove anything. You know yourselves, That is what you should focus on. So that is number 2. Number 3, you have to show the court what you can offer. You cannot just come to court and start asking the court, me, I want this father, baby daddy of mine to do all these things. Na wewe unasema tu, me, I don't have money, I cannot do anything. Acha nikwambie, by the way, I think most people are not aware of this. The fact that you are unemployed, the fact that you have no job is not an excuse for you to run away from your responsibility as a parent. Because as far as the court is concerned, whether you are employed or not employed, this child continues to have needs. Mtu lazima aende shule, mtu lazima asome, mtu lazima akule, mtu lazima akue na afya njema. Utaambia koti hauna kazi, sasa uwezi kalipa child support. It doesn't make any sense, because even you as an adult, you are feeding. In whatever way you're doing, you are feeding. So, you also need to show the court what you're willing to offer. In that case, unajaribu tu kuonesha goodwill on your side. Because at the end of the day, hii mambo ya child support, we're not coming to court to extort the other person. So if you come to court and you start demanding things with nothing from your end, you look like you're just coming to extort the court. That is also another factor. Another factor that you need to ask yourself is, what are the needs of a child? When I talk about the needs of vitu umeenda kotini kuambia koti ikupatie. For instance, for any normal child in Kenya, the basic needs: food, shelter, clothing, education, and medical attendance. Some couples or some other parents add their own things in accordance to how just the culture on how you're taking care of the children. But majorly it is food, shelter, clothing, educational needs, and medical attention. So those are the needs. So when you go to court, please make sure that kama ni food, unasema exactly what you use for food. It is either uko na evidence on what you use for food, or if you do not have evidence, you can just quote a reasonable amount. Because clearly there's no one also expecting you to be saving up on the receipts for food, sijui za nini. It's not practicable, but you can just approximate what you use in a month for food. Because I'm sure even the court, the judges, they're human beings. They have an understanding how much food can cost. If let's say you're raising 3 children, 3 boys, you're raising 1 child, they have an understanding. So if you come to court and you're quoting at food 100,000, clearly you are just extorting someone. You're just lying. Because it is not enough that you're quoting that 100,000 and you still do not have the evidence to attach that 100,000. So please avoid that route. When you quote exaggerated amounts, you look like you actually look bad before the law. So make sure you quote amounts that are reasonable, that the court can actually see this person uses this. Or you can even just, once you give an estimate, you're like, I use like 700 per day on food. How much is that in a month? The court can approximate that. It is reasonable. You know, in your circumstances, of course, kila mtu kwa level yake vile amezoea kuishi, but in your level, we can actually see it's reasonable. So there is that part. Of course, medical care, shelter, the rent you are paying, you just attach the rent agreement, rental agreement, if it is there, or just the receipts, the M-Pesa payment that you make towards your rent. So it's good whenever you're making this thing to attach evidence. Or if you're not going to attach evidence, then make reasonable provisions or quote reasonable amounts. Stop exaggerating amounts. You look like an idiot before court. Higher. So whenever you're filing this case, you need to ask yourself, whatever I have put down in that paper, is the court going to give me? You know, you as a person, you know very well when you put down some things that are exaggerated. Now, unajua too deep down, the court is not going to give you those things that you're asking for. For instance, ile kesi ya Eldoret, yenye the woman went and said anataka upate 20% of the baby daddy's salary. On what basis? Hako ameweka on what basis? And it was not even in her place to tell the court that anataka 20,000. No. It was in a place to prove to court that I have this and this and this needs. I can be able to cater for this and this. I am struggling, I can't cater for all. I want the baby to do this and this. Then the court will have decided, you take this and this. But yeye hata kwa ameambia court how much food cost in a month. Court iko na estimate. Sorry. Hako ameambia court how much is shelter. Alikuwa jaambia court, the court is not aware. Hako ameambia court how much she spends on food or clothing or whatever. She just came and quoted, I want 20,000 from the baby daddy because he's a teacher. That is no way going to help your case. You actually need to show the court that I deserve these orders that I am asking for. Okay. So there is that bit. And when you are filing for these child support cases, you need to file something called an affidavit of means. Remember when I started, I told you that you need to explain your financial needs, your income earning capacity. So when you swear an affidavit of means, you're actually just declaring your means. What you have, what you earn, how you spend your money, what are the needs of this child, what you are willing to give towards raising this child. That is what you swear in your affidavit of means. And both parties must swear it. If the other party does not swear it, then the court is going to use whatever is going to be available in court to make a ruling. Whether whatever is available is going to be against that person, it doesn't matter because you didn't produce any affidavit of means. So, it's always good to prepare an affidavit of means. Again, if your affidavit of means, the court iangalie only affidavit of means, you are actually lying. The court will disregard it. Your baby mama has come to court, amesema you are this, produce evidence, you are running companies, you have this asset, you have what, and then you, in rebuttal, you come to court and tell the court, me, I'm just an inini and I'm earning this. But you cannot explain to court the businesses, the what. You're clearly lying in your affidavit of means. The court will set it aside and decide to go with what it has seen. In which case, in this case, it'll go with what the mama has said. So it is always good to declare your assets, everything that you have. So, another factor, in your affidavit of means, when you are including your needs, also show that all your money does not just go to taking care of a child. That is just practical. When you have money, it doesn't mean that you don't have needs. You as a person also has to go to work. There is fare. There's also your clothing and all that. So you also need to show the court that as much as I'm making this, I can't use all this on a child. Because sometimes some of you think that because I'm earning 50, the other one is earning I'm earning 50. Now the court cannot assume that you're spending 50k on a child. No. There's a certain amount you spend to other child na mambo ingine utajifanyia. So in your affidavit of means, please state that. So before you go to court, have all those documents ready. If it is food, if you have any journal where you put down, some people are smart, you put down, or if you just have any evidence around food, you can attach. If you don't, quote a reasonable amount. If it is school fees, obviously you have fee structures, you just put them there. How much is your rent? Put in the receipts for your utility bills, water and electricity. You can attach receipts wanapeana kwa hizo shops. You can attach for that, the court can see exactly what you use approximately in a month. And then once you are ready with that, and you are in the timings are okay, you can then now proceed to file the case. So this is how you file the case. Hii kesi huwa inafailiwa under a document called a plaint. Sijui kama unajua what a plaint is, but it is a plaint. In that plaint, you are going to state who you are. You are going to state the baby daddy. And then you are going to state what you want. Me, I encourage people who are representing themselves to state the history. Show the court that I was married to this guy, marriage certificate ndo hii. Tukaachana hii mwaka, unaonyesha. Since tuachane hajakuwa akilea mtoto, unasema. Mimi nimekuwa ningangana mwenyewe, nikilea watoto na ngangana, unasema. Mimi kipato yangu sio nyingi, hii kipato yangu niko nao na struggle sana kulea watoto nayo, unasema. That as it stand, this is what I incur and so I really struggle doing this, unaziandika. Unasema kwa mwezi mimi food wanatumia hivi ni nini na hivi na hivi na hivi. Una outline sasa hapo kwa hiyo paragraph uta outline what you use for each need. Food, this is amount. Shelter, this is the amount. Clothing, this is the amount. Medical bills ni hivyo. Mambo na school bus and all that unaandika. Entertainment unaweka, then una approximate. Kama una evidence, you approximate a reasonable amount. Please take note of that. You approximate. You tell the court mtu pia vile tulikuwa na yeye alikuwa anafanya kila kitu. Tell the court that alikuwa anafanya kila kitu. Huyu mtu alikuwa anachunga watoto, huyu mtu alikuwa anapeleka watoto Riara school, huyu mtu alikuwa anafanya kila kitu. You just demonstrate to the court that whoever my baby daddy is a man of means, because there's no way you are capable of taking children to Riara school and then now you want to come and show up in court and say I cannot be able to do that. No. And without any evidence, it's not going to work. So you are just trying to demonstrate to the court that this person is a man of means. And I did a video on TikTok where I told ladies that if you need to attach evidence of his means, please get evidence. In this case, look for those bank transfers, you know. Get the agreement. Penye mulikuwa mnakaa before, maybe you have the agreement. Show the court this is the rent he used to pay. Show the court the fee structure for Riara yalikuwa analipa. Show the court how you used to do shopping in a month. Hizo vitu zote, any document, land, properties, because when you're filing for child support, means includes properties, land, cars, companies, businesses. If you have any document around that, you attach to your pleadings to show the court that he's a man of means, and as such he owes to chip in taking care of these children. Ukishamaliza kuandika hivyo, if you want custody, you don't need to file a separate suit. In that same case, you just put another paragraph and say I want to be granted actual and legal custody with him being granted access, ama you can just say I want a shared custody. That is how you put it, and after that you state your prayers. Let me just read for you an example of a case that I was handling, but I wasn't representing the plaintiff in this case. I was representing the respondent, but just for you to just have an idea of how it sounds. Let me just read for you. So it is a plaint, the way I've told you, a plaint. So the plaintiff is a female adult of sound mind who resides and works for gain within Nairobi. The defendant is a male adult of sound mind who resides and works for gain in Nairobi. The plaintiff and the defendant are the biological parents of these children, who are born on these, while the parents were legally married and living in Kahawa West. To date, the plaintiff and the minors reside in this estate. The marriage broke down in November this year, and since then, the defendant has been reluctant in fulfilling his parental responsibilities over the minors, and the plaintiff single-handedly fend for the minors. Sikia vile inakuja? Aya. Of course, watu wengine wanapenda sana kuveer off. When you're filing for child support cases, please stop talking about irrelevant things. Za kusema sijui is a cheat. Hizo vitu hazina maana. Unless you're cheating in affect custody, you don't need to state it. So the plaintiff averred that the defendant has shown little interest in maintaining the minors by providing for their monthly upkeep. Okay. That the defendant, who is very violent in nature, has expressly indicated that the plaintiff that he will not cater for any minor's needs provided that the plaintiff is out of the matrimonial home. The plaintiff further avers that the defendant has neglected all the responsibility pertaining to the minors, and at the moment the current minors' monthly expenditure stands at 200,000 exclusive of school fees and expenses. We alisema monthly expenditure 200,000, which was actually quite unreasonable, quite exaggerated, but alisema too, which is fine. So you quote a reasonable amount. Na usijifinye sana pia usijiweke juu sana. The plaintiff is ready and willing to cater for. Nasikia sana mbele nimekwambia, you need to show the court what you are willing to do. You cannot just come and ask for child support orders and you do not want to show the court anything. So, the plaintiff is ready and willing to cater for shelter, clothing, entertainment, house help, and medical expenses towards equivalence, which amounts to 90,000, and request that the defendant caters for monthly maintenance at the rate of 110,000. You remember huku nyuma alikuwa amesema anataka alipo 200,000. Hapo akakuja sasa akajaribu ku break down. Akasema yeye akitake for shelter, clothing, entertainment, medical expenses, it all amounts to 90,000. So akajaribu kusema the remaining balance should be catered by the defendant. But in any case, he has shown to court what she's willing to take. I hope hadi hapo mmeelewana. Haya. Akakuja akaanza kuonesha how the defendant can take care of these children. Akasema, the plaintiff averred that during the subsistence of the marriage, parties constructed commercial property which fetches rent due to a tune of 400,000 shillings per month. As such, the plaintiff avers that the defendant is capable of paying the monthly maintenance for the child for the minor's hearing. Ameonesha kwa tu msea kwa rentals zenye huwa anakota 400, and as such he is actually able to pay the 110 anataka msea alipe. The plaintiff further averred that the defendant, being the biological father of the minors, should cater for the minors' school fees and related expenses and the monthly upkeep for 110. That's why hapa alikuwa shanza kuwa overambitious. That when the marriage broke down, the plaintiff has been staying with the minors to date. Aya akasema that the minors attend school and are set to resume on this date, and their school fees is yet to be paid, and request the court to compel the defendant to pay the school fees. But the plaintiff averred that the eldest daughter is in Form 4 who needs to fully concentrate on her studies. The plaintiff further avers that all efforts made by the children to access the defendant has been futile, as the defendant has requested the management security to allow the children or the plaintiff into the premises. So hapa anajaribu kubring ile idea ya custody, anajaribu kuonesha court umse amekuwa kifukuza watoto, so ataki wapatiwe custody. So unaona vile ameiweka. Claim that she left the matrimonial home because the defendant was cruel, drunkard, adulterous, and of a protective nature. The plaintiff has always ensured the minor's best interests are well taken care of by ensuring they stay in a peaceful environment, acquire quality education, and provide for all their basic needs. So hapa anajaribu tu kuonesha code that usimsemficho kupea watoto. Sijui kama unaona hiyo picha inakuja. So the plaintiff further averred that having custody of the minors and the defendant restricting the minors' access, the plaintiff requests the court to grant her legal, actual, and physical custody, with the defendant being granted access. So alikuwa anataka yakae na watoto, then the defendant akuje tu kwa na watoto. So akasema reason whereof the orders now he is seeking from court. an order that the plaintiff herself should have actual legal and physical custody and possession of the minors, an order, a permanent injunction restraining the defendant either by himself or through her agents from interfering with the plaintiff's custody, possession, care, and control of the minors, an order directing the defendant to pay school fees and related expenses, and an order compelling the defendant to pay the monthly maintenance of 110 and the cost of this suit. That is how you draft your plaint. You're not going to say that you want the court to order 20,000 shillings to be cut off from the salary of your baby daddy with no basis. Unaona huyu amesema tu anataka court compel atoe 110. Penye huyu baby daddy atoe 110 sio business yake. Akikataa kutoa hiyo 110 is when now she'll come back to court and tell the court you order the baby daddy to pay 110. The baby daddy is not doing that. Now I want to attach his salary. You don't come to court immediately after the day when you're filing a case and you're busy saying that you want salary to be attached. No, you already look like you have some fishy ideas. So this is what it looks like. And when you prepare this plaint, you attach an application and a certificate of urgency. If you have an urgency, which I think most mothers do, because tuseme kama saa hii mnataka mtoto wako aende shule January, huyu jamaa hajakuwa provide anything. Right now, if you file a child support case, you're going to make an application and a certificate of urgency for you to get interim orders. Zinaitwanga interim orders zenye zitakuenable at least upate order ya school fees. Kesi kene, because hizi kesi watachukua muda. So, ukifile kesi leo kama November, hii kesi labda itaisha next year huko November pia. So, hakuna vile utangoja November ndo wapeane order za school fees. So, you make a small application, una-attach na hii main suit. Sijuka unaelewa. Yani kuna the main suit yenye nimekusomea hapa, the plaint, it's called a plaint. And then now, we have an application for you to get that interim order. Interim, I'm talking about order katikati hapa kesi kiendelea. So, the plaint comes with a list of witnesses. So, if you have any witnesses, you can call them. Tunaona huyu madam alisema the plaintiff and akasema number 2 minors to be called if need be. Hiyo pia nyingine. So, if you have to bring in witnesses, you know who to call. If you're trying to get custody of the child, you can bring in a witness who can actually tell the court, msesi mfitu kana watoto. So there's that. So there are witnesses. List of documents. All the documents that you need to rely upon. Kama in this case, this mama ali-attach birth certificate, aka-attach fee structures, aka-attach tenancy agreement penye alikuwa anakaa, aka-attach the rent and the utility payment receipt zenye huwa analipa. Ndio aoneshe koti vile anakuanga anahangaika kilea watoto. List of documents. So that is how you prepare your case. You know, complete the plaint, list of witnesses, list of documents, witness statements in your meandika, and your application in your interim order. In that application, you'll be seeking that this application be had ex parte in the first instance, that actual custody be granted to the applicant pending the hearing and determination of this application inter partes. Juka unasikia hiyo part. Pending the hearing. That the actual custody, that this honorable court grants orders that the defendant to provide the minors education-related expenses pending the hearing and determination of this application inter partes. So, pending the hearing and determination of your case to its completion, you are praying to the court to give you orders that this guy pays school fees. Because by the time you get to November next year, you'll be paying school fees on your own from today, which you cannot. January inafika and you need school fees to be paid, and you need an order to compel this person to pay. So you make this application to get interim orders pending the determination and finalization of this matter. I hope at that point umenielewa. Hii application inafanana tu kama the main suit, but you'll need to find a sample. So if you're choosing to represent yourself, I think you'll have to reach out to an advocate, or I don't know how you'll get a copy, or maybe you Google. I don't think you can even find them on Google. That is why it's sometimes so difficult to represent yourself. So, kuna hiyo. Ukisha prepare hii document, you need to file it in court. Nowadays, kuna kitu inaitwa e-filing. Siku hizi everything ilienda online. Hakuna kwenda kupeleka vitu kwa milimani mmeenda kumake line mkifurugana. So you need to establish an online account on the judiciary e-filing, where you'll be able to file this case of yours. So you'll have to either go to a cyber, ama if you have a laptop, use your laptop. Create an e-filing account. Where Google to judiciary e-filing. Itakuja tu, itakuonesha create account. You'll create account as a person representing yourself. Once you are done creating the account, you upload your documents. When you upload your documents, they will issue you with summons and they'll give you a date. Kama watakupatia summons, utaandikia barua kwa registry wakupatie date, because when you prepare the nini and the file, you pay. There's a filing fees you pay. I can't remember how much you pay. So with that, the other person of course will put in their defense, then mwende hearing. Mkienda hearing, please focus on your case. Usianze kwenda mbele ya koti kuanza kulia. Usianze kwenda mbele ya koti kuanza kuadmit vitu uelewi. Ati mimi admit no. Nakumbuka kama ile kesi ile the woman admitted, usiende kwanza kuadmit vitu ya mbele ya koti, vitu zenye uelewi. Wewe ambia tu koti, mimi situation yangu ndio hii. You don't even need to know the law. So focusing on telling the court article 53 says this, article hapana. You focus on showing the court that this is the situation on the ground and I need you to give me orders that can actually solve the situation. That is what you want. So you are trying to tell the court, mimi nimekuwa na watoto, nimekuwa nikiwalisha. If you're just a layman, nateseka, nangangana, nafanya hii biashara, yorona, hii biashara haiwezi kanini, watoto ni wengi, 3, 2, majukumu yao ni nyingi, baba yao ni hivi na hivi, yorona unaona nimeleta evidence mbele hii koti kuonesha ni mwalimu ama ni daktari ama ni nini. Mimi ningependa huyu baba yao anisaidie kufanya hivi na hivi na hivi because mimi siwezani. And the court will make an order that is favorable. Hii mambo ya kusema ati umeenda kusema mimi am okay with this, una admit haraka. Even just go and state what you are capable of doing. Now stick to your case. Usiende ile siku unaenda hearing, soma hiyo witness statement ulikuwa umeandika. Usiende huko alafu anza tu kuyapiap na vitu ziko different from the witness statement. Na usipeleke hasira, usiende kulia mbele ya koti. Just relax, state your case and the court will give orders. I don't know if I've left any other thing out. Yeah, let me just emphasize, don't come to court thinking that you're going to file for child support and pay nothing. You know, I've come to know that there are some women especially who think that they will come to court and ask for child support from the baby daddy and expect to pay nothing, that Mimi, he used to provide everything. It's not going to work like that. If you're going to come to court to seek child support, just know, even if you have no job, the court is going to tell you, take the things that are affordable. And court inaweza kama uchukue clothing. But hakuna vile utaambia court, ati mimi sina kazi, siwezi afford anything. No. In fact, court inaweza kuuliza watu wanakaa wapi. Because kama huwezi hata afford shelter, you risk losing a custody of those children. So you better tell the court, mimi haki sina kazi, but mimi naweza afford, ni cheap, nikuwa nanunua tunguo 1, 2. Na tusaidiane na huyu baba mtoto labda kununua chakula. Usijidanganya tunakuja hapo kotini kusema mimi sina kazi yoyote, nataka tu child support. It's not going to work like that, my dear Saizi. It's not going to work like that. You must provide at least something, but the court will make sure it is within your means. And for the court to make sure it's within your means, for you to prove. Don't just kubali everything. For you to prove, waambie court mimi tu ni maid. The much I make from every month is 10,000. The much I can do for these children is just pay the where we live and just buy clothes. I want this man to help me with the food, the house help and the education needs. The court itang assess na itakupatia hivyo. Watu wenye amjuangi kujitetea wao wanaenda kurambwa huko. I want people to look at that scenario ya kina Rapudo and the baby mama. Muliangalia Rapudo aliambiwa alipe 30k on top. Najua ile baby mama Rapudo si ati ni msoto, but Rapudo was ordered to pay 30,000 more on food and utilities. So aside from him paying the school fees and related expenses, he was also told to pay 30,000 on top. So weka hapo kazi yako ni kwenda kotini na kukanyagiwa, alafu unaambua uchukue hivi na umenyamaza, wewe mwenyewe umejizubaisha. And then number 2, kwenda children office sio kwenda kotini. Wengine you come telling me nenda kwa children office wakaamua huko sio kotini. Children office is not court. Whatever they decide, let them decide, but that is not court. Go to court. Because look at Miss Jini unaenda kufanya nini huko. But generally that is the process. I don't think it's complicated, because when you come to court and you are representing yourself, the court is actually so lenient. Mimi wanaona court kama unajirepresent, court inakupeleka pole pole inakuuliza, so madam unasema aje, unaweza kufanya nini na nini. The court is actually very very lenient with the people who are representing themselves. So usiogope koti. I believe you can do it. na kama mimi nakuaminia, mbona wewe usijaminie? I hope with this information I have helped. I will also be answering questions kwa comment section, but yeah, I think that's roughly what I wanted to say. So have a good one.